Today we are joined by a cycling influencer, Nikki Hawkes, a woman who lives for the plot and has made me laugh literally out loud through her content. We talk about many of her adventures, and she's certainly someone I've had a ton of fun chatting with. If you want to see more interviews, do check out our back catalogue and make sure you subscribe so you see these in your timeline as soon as they come out. And without further ado, we're in the wheels of Nikki Hawkes and a gatecrashing cat. Hi, thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing?
Yeah, very good. It's a pleasure to be on here. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad. I guess the easiest way in is how did you get into cycling? But I say that knowing that you're such a kind of multi-sport athlete that I don't know where the cycling began and the other sports didn't. Do you know what I mean? That you do so much, and it's truly incredible to see. But yeah, how did cycling come into your life?
It was very much just commuting at first. I'd commute into uni and then I'd commute into work. And then I started looking at how to upgrade my bike, and then ended up going down rabbit holes for all these outrageously expensive bikes, and sort of thought, okay, I'm not there yet. But it kind of did just evolve from commuting into starting to do it a bit more outside. The first kind of big thing I did, which was still very much on my hybrid when I didn't know what padded shorts were and I didn't even have cleats, was London to Paris. And
wow,
that was so much fun. Absolutely loved it. I mean, we did it over 3 days, so it wasn't outrageously fast or outrageously hard, and we sort of stayed at Airbnbs along the way, and we had little bike panniers, and I feel like I learned a lot during that trip, just about kind of comfort on a bike, and the difference that having a slightly nicer bike could make to having a really heavy one. I then did another trip with my friend Alicia, and I feel like I hadn't learned all my lessons until after that trip. So it's that one was more of a baptism of fire. We went from Munich to Vienna and rented some bikes at a shop in Munich from a nice German man named Hans, and they were really it was basically like a German Boris bike, to be honest, but you could attach pannier bags to it. Still didn't have cleats, still didn't really have padded shorts, but it was all along the river, so it was an easy cycle. It was, I think, 200 kilometers down to from Munich to Vienna, and we stayed somewhere overnight. So epic kind of mini adventures that sort of just really opened your eyes into the world of cycling, and suddenly you realize how much more there is out there.
Yeah, I kind of love that. I definitely get the sense of adventure from just scrolling on your Instagram. For even 2 minutes, you're like, oh yeah, she loves going on adventures, and this interview will take the form of a kind of choose your own adventure. Well, I'll give you some headings. I'll try and do some video editing to make it look extra nice, but you'll get to pick what we talk about next at each point. A bit of planning on the fly, I guess. But
talking to people about cycling, I think, is probably what got me into it. So when I did Munich to Vienna, we met an Austrian couple at a pub, and they were just telling us about their adventure, and we were like, oh my god, we almost know nothing about cycling at this stage, but what you've just described sounds awesome, so we want to do it. So
yeah,
very kind of peer-led, and seeing what other people are doing and being like, well, if you can do it, I can do that too, right? Blissful naivety about what it actually involves. But
yeah. And have you made it to riding with cleats now?
I ride with cleats now, yes. In fact, I probably have way too much gear for my athletic level, if I'm honest, but I've got aggressive amounts of lycra, and I have I've got a bike computer recently. That's new for me, so
wow,
a recent upgrade. But yeah, cleats, lots of bougie lycra.
I'm still into my I have a computer on my time trial bike that I don't really use anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't on my road bike, partly because I use it for commuting, and
it's useful for longer rides, but for the short ones, you don't need it.
I'm just I don't want to get depressed either, because I
I used to race as a junior, and now I've lapsed and got, let's say, got comfortable.
Mhm.
So I'm like, there's no way I can be at that level again. I was young and thin, and now I'm neither.
Depends what you're using the bike computer, right? If you're
Well,
using it
yeah,
to analyze your speed, then yeah, maybe it would make me depressed too. But if you're just using it to help your phone save a bit of battery and navigate, then it's a different purpose for it. But yeah, I
yeah, it's
totally
true.
agree. You don't want to overanalyze your stats and then have the comparison devil on your shoulder.
Yeah, yeah, that is the worst when you're like pushing into a headwind. You're like, this is 14 mile an hour. I'm going nowhere. This is
Exactly.
horrendous. But yeah, the question I was wanting to ask was like, how did you find that transition to riding with cleats? Like, because like I still vaguely remember changing, and like, yeah,
You know
it's
what?
an
It wasn't.
experience.
Yeah, I really didn't find it so bad. What I did struggle with actually was changing from a hybrid bike to a road bike, and I don't know why
Okay.
I struggled with that. Like the position of it, like
Mm,
having drop bars and just having a frame which was a lot less stable. I don't know. It
yeah.
sounds ridiculous, but it almost feels like going from a tricycle to a bicycle is what it felt like for me.
Mm,
But then the cleats just kind of felt like a natural part of that.
that's weird. Yeah. Yeah, I do get that. 'Cause like, yeah, the first time trial I did was on a mountain bike, and it was like, and then like the week following, I loaned a road bike, and
Mm,
it just felt weird. Like you'd travel so far on one pedal rev, and it was like, yeah, I totally get the sort of the lack of stability because it's so light. You're like, oh, this like would blow over in the wind.
exactly. Yeah, I feel like finding my balance on like with a hybrid you can ride without have your hands off the handlebars so easily. On a road bike you do just need a bit more like I think core strength confidence. I don't know, but
Mm.
I found that I really felt that. I think I'd started using cleats at the same time, so maybe it was just a all-in-one effect.
Yeah, because like I assume you've had the rite of passage of forgetting that you've got cleats or being unable to unclip in time and just having that
I've had
almost,
classic like you fall over at a traffic light when you can't
yeah.
unclip. You know, it's just like shame everywhere.
And
But
it's like it's a comedy fall as well because you're like, this is happening. I
yeah, it's
cannot
almost
change
in
it.
slow motion. I
Yeah,
can't do anything about it. There's cars behind me. Let's just hope they're in a good mood.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
Lights turn
yeah,
green. It's uphill. Fuck. So, alas,
yes,
we've learned the hard way.
yeah. And then I don't know whether you have it, but like if have you ever ridden with your cleated pedals, so to speak, but wearing just flat shoes? Because like I can't like well, I can do it, but I can't have the pedals facing the wrong way. Like I have to be, you know, mentally clipped in, even though there's no cleat to clip in. Like I still have to have the pedals the right way.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm the same.
Like yeah, I don't know whether it's just a weird me thing, or just yeah, one of those things that
I feel like
everyone
you only
has.
notice it when you have had cleats. I think if you were, although there's the two different ones, right? Like SPD Shimano ones, they're a bit
Mm,
better than like mountain. The other ones, which are really small, those are riding with
yeah,
flat shoes is so uncomfortable.
I've not tried. I use Look, and they're quite chunky.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's the SPD, there's the Speed Play, which is almost like a reverse cleat.
Hmm.
Um, where yeah, the gap is actually in the shoe and the pedal is the cleat almost, I
Yeah.
think. And then there's the little egg beater ones that are used more for cyclocross. Um,
I was like recently, only recently realized with SPTs and like cleats in general that you have to like align them like properly on your shoe. I don't know if
yeah,
this is the case with other ones, but like otherwise it will cause knee problems. And I learned that the hard
yeah.
way because there
Oh
was a
no.
point where I'd just gotten a new pair of specialized shoes. And in my excitement, I just put the cleats on really quickly, didn't even look at the alignment. And then a couple of weeks later, I just remember thinking, why is my knee hurting? Looked at the bottom
Mm.
of my shoe, and it was like, yeah, it was so wonky.
Oh
And I just thought
yeah.
that must be why. So yeah, there's things that I feel like I don't know, I just never really paid attention to how they were put on before. Someone else must have done it. Who knows?
Yeah, well, yeah, now you've made me feel self-conscious about mine because I'm like, whenever I replace the cleats, I'm like, I don't change anything. I just use the outline that the previous ones have left and
Yeah.
go, yep, that worked last time. You know,
I'm not
I
saying
mean,
everyone's knee problems are related to this, but it's worth checking. So
yeah, definitely. Like, get a proper bike fit, get a proper
that's something
cleat
I've
check.
never had. I've never had a bike fit, and I would love
I'll
one.
be honest,
Like
me
that's just
either.
something, yeah.
'Cause you are based in London, right?
Yeah.
One of my friends and former cyclists, I'll plug him now. Like we were both juniors at a similar time. A guy called Tim Allen, he runs Soigneur, which is a bike fit shop, and that's in London area, I think.
Hmm.
I want to say Enfield, certainly North London,
Yeah.
if Enfield's north. My London geography is horrendous because I only have to go to Holborn and then I leave, and
Where are
that's
you
it.
based?
I'm based in Grantham,
Oh, okay.
near Nottingham. So like
Yeah.
occasionally I have to go to an office, and it's in
Yeah.
Holborn. So it's like literally go to the office, come home, don't explore like I don't go to Oxford Street, I don't go to West End or anything like that. Like I'll see St Paul's maybe once in a blue moon,
Hmm.
and that's as far as I ever venture.
To be honest,
Um,
I know central London and I know nothing outside of it. Like I'm in Battersea
yeah,
and I work in Trafalgar Square and I just don't leave my patch. So
yeah, yeah,
anything
it's so
outside of
true.
it, yeah, I don't go there. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I guess you just get into that mode, don't you? Of just like,
I think
this
it's
is where I
anybody
need to go.
really. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you get enough adventure by the
Yes.
looks of it that you don't need to explore London as well.
No, I
Like,
really don't.
um, and with that in mind, let's pick our own adventure. You have a choice of, let's go four. I've got four topics that we can talk about. Marmot,
Okay.
Little Beans, Diamond Heist, and Sussy Captions.
Where
Which
to
would you like first?
start? um, let's go from the start. Let's talk about Marmot.
Yeah. So, how was the Marmot? What even is it for people who don't know?
The Marmot is a 175-kilometer event in like around the Alpe d'Huez area of
Hmm.
France. It's got 6,000, just about 6,000 meters of elevation, and a lot of the cols in the. It's not a race, and I keep wanting to call it a race in the
Yeah.
sportive. Um, on
Oh,
TikTok,
people
people get
race
really
sportives all the
spicy about me
time.
calling it a race, and I'm just like, guys, fine. I'm sorry, the event. Um, the a lot of the cols frequently feature in Tour de France, so it's
Hmm.
been, I think, in the past, the route that it takes was one of the stages of Tour de France. And it is a brutal day out. Like it is stunning in terms of the views, but it's got 35-degree heat, most like because it's in June, and I think pros can probably they smash it out in like under 6 hours if you're like
Of
a
course,
really
yeah.
elite cyclist, but around that, and it took me 13 hours. So that's comparison from someone who's aggressively recreational as a cyclist. um, but yeah, absolutely loved it. It is an epic day out. The heat, I think, is the hardest thing to kind of come to terms with because you start in the morning, it's relatively cool, but as you go on throughout the day, the sun is just like is strong, and even going downhill it feels like you're being blasted by a hairdryer. Like there is
Yeah.
no respite. The wind is like it's hot. So I had really bad sunburn afterwards, because I just didn't put enough sun cream on. So it was giving drumstick lollipop with the tan lines on my arms and my legs. But
Yeah.
yeah, incredible day out. Love the route, and the views I think are the best thing about it.
Yeah. 'Cause, like, to me, I'd always worried that, I'm a bit timid in terms of downhills. So I'm like, I'd always worry that, like, I'd go uphill quicker than I would downhill because just those mountain passes look very steep. How was it? Like, did you have a preference? Are you someone who goes uphill well? And isn't so keen of downhill, or are you the reverse of that?
Oh, I don't know if I have a preference. I'm
Okay.
relatively confident going downhill, but this event is crazy because one of the downhills was like 45 kilometers long. To be going downhill
Ooh.
and have your hands on the brakes for that amount of time, just in case, it's almost your hand is just like in a claw shape for a certain period of time, and you can really feel it afterwards. There was some turns which were spicy though, so like the hairpins going down some of those alpine passes were crazy. And you do have to. I was probably holding down my brakes more than I guess I would in any other type of downhill. But the uphills were, yeah, they were stunning. I mean, they're tough. The average gradient throughout the whole event, I think, is about 8%.
Yeah.
And that was obviously including the flats, so it's crazy. They kind of, when you're nearer the top as well, you can see snow, and that just feels really juxtaposed with like the heat that you're feeling. So
Yeah.
it's strange, but yeah, the gradients they're spicy.
Yeah, that juxtaposition is quite a weird one. I've not had that one, but I remember I went on a ski trip with school when I was a lot younger, and like it was in California, but on the border of Nevada.
Right.
And from the top of the slopes, you could see the Nevada desert, and you're like, this is weird that
Yeah, that is
we're
strange.
in the snow and can see such an arid climate, like
Yeah.
just there. I imagine, yeah, it's the same way you're like climbing on a hot day and like, oh, it's snowing, or
Like,
there is snow.
There's right there on the side of the mountain, but which I guess are like part of like the glaciers. But it is just boiling, so it's strange.
Were you not tempted just to have a lie down and go, this will be cooler, like sticking your head in the fridge
A
type
little bit,
situation?
Fun fact about the event: I don't think I've not said anything. I've not like mentioned this on social media or anywhere. I kind of meant to, but then I just didn't. But we technically missed out 1 kilometer of the route because you get to the top of the Galiba, and then before you start going downhill on that climb. But I was literally desperate to go to the toilet, and we found a pub, and I was just like, okay, guys, I'm going to stop because there hadn't been a toilet stop for like maybe 45 kilometers. And I went in, and at the time that I went in, we came out, and they'd then closed the road, and we were like, wait,
whoops,
sorry, what? Like within those 5 minutes, decided to close like the road that then takes you up to the very top of the Galiba. And at this point we were like, we've DNF'd. We've like, what do you mean? Are we going to have to come back the way we came? But there was a tunnel, so they sent us through the tunnel instead. And it meant that, yeah, we just didn't do that last little 1 kilometer that gets you to the top and then back down to the tunnel. But at the end of the day, we were just talking about it, and everyone was like, Nikki, that is a definition of you being an actual party pooper, like going to the toilet, missing the and like not being able to, like, I guess it was a DNF technically, if by race standards is what it would have been. So,
but
yeah.
luckily it wasn't a race, so.
But luckily it wasn't a race, so you can just make your own route, finish in your own time, whatever. So yeah, they closed the roads, which is crazy, which shows how close to the cut-off time we were. And the reason for that is that we'd had some mechanicals at the start, so we were literally like the last people to start the race.
Oh God, that's the last thing you need as well. Like, oh, this is going to be a long day. How to make it worse?
I know, and they make the fast people go first and the slow people go last, and it just means that the slow people then have less time to actually finish the event, and then yeah. But it is, I guess they just don't want all the fast people having to overtake right at the start. So, yeah.
Yeah, but just let them. If they're that fast,
we
they're
need all
going
the
to
time
outpace
we
you.
can get. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just let the fast people have to work their way through. If they're good enough, they'll get through.
Yeah.
Like, and as you said, it's not a race, so who cares? Like, 1 minute's not going to make a difference.
No, I know. Alas.
Anyway, yeah, like, so with that, like, I know you said you're, to quote yourself from earlier, aggressively recreational. Like, what kind of, not to quote Marie Kondo too much, but like, what sparks joy when it comes to cycling?
It's the views.
Or in sport in general, I guess. Sorry.
So what?
I said like sport in general as well, to that extent, because of being such a multi-sport person.
Yeah, it's the endorphins. Like, it's definitely the endorphins. And especially if you're doing it somewhere outdoors where you have good views, that sort of makes a huge difference. I guess with Marmot, there's like insane views everywhere, and that kind of sense of wanderlust and adventure really feels like it's been quenched with a trip like that. And the fact that you can just pile on the snacks because you can eat as much as you want when you're doing these things. So having a good assortment of snacks is absolutely crucial for these things. My personal favorite is a sugar waffle. That is my go-to for most of these adventures. But yeah, endorphins and good views, I think, are the two things that I get the most satisfaction out of from adventure style sports generally.
Nice.
And I guess like the whole, you at some point, I don't know how to describe it, but you set these like targets for yourself, and then it just, once you've done one thing, you're just like, well, what else am I capable of? So and then you kind of want to keep challenging yourself.
Yeah, I guess that sort of never sitting still mentality. Yeah, that really comes through actually. Because yeah, you've done like trail running and triathlon. I mean, you've done this for the context of people watching. Like the triathlons you've done. You do half Ironman.
Yeah, half Ironman's probably my favorite distance.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like swimming, cycling, running are the things that I enjoy the most. Mountaineering has only sort of come around a bit more recently, but it does already feel like there's too many hobbies with 4 of those things, because often people like to focus on one, and God knows cycling is expensive enough by itself. But
yeah, yeah, it's insane. But yeah, we mentioned mountaineering. It feels right to do a nice segue into a diamond heist that you're involved with. Or certainly that's the title we'll give this. So
yeah.
your little trip to Ecuador, what was that like?
So we'd done Mont Blanc earlier. We'd done Mont Blanc last year, and that was a 4,000-meter mountain. And I climbed Kilimanjaro 2 years before that. And we were looking at what other mountains there are that are somewhat affordable, because with mountaineering it can get really expensive really quickly, similar to cycling, because you need guides, you need a lot of kit for the altitude, and you also need a lot of annual leave because they tend to be really long trips.
Yeah.
So this was a 2-week trip, and we found out that Ecuador has it's the tallest mountain from the center of the earth. So as opposed to from sea level, like Everest is the tallest mountain in the world from sea level, but Chimborazo in Ecuador is the tallest mountain from the center of the earth, and people call it the closest to the stars. So we were sort of like really attracted to that because it's also typically like it's not so technical. There's a lot of altitude, but it's quite accessible. And it's relatively, for the height of the mountain, it's relatively cheap. So I think we ended up spending, trip total with like guides and everything, it was probably about 3.5K per person. And that includes kind of 2 weeks of like food, guides, national park passes, etc. And for context, like Everest is like what, maybe 50K.
Wow.
So is what people pay sometimes. I don't know what the average is, but that is a kind of like benchmark figure.
Yeah, 3.5K does sound cheap.
When you compare it, yeah.
Oh, dear.
But yeah, anyway, the technical, like, it's not so technical. So the main thing that you have to do is just be able to acclimatize and be okay with sleep deprivation, because you start most of the climbs at midnight, so that when you get to the summits, the sun isn't threatening to melt the snow and cause a lot of rockfall. So that if you go through any like crevasses or anything, you're not at risk of falling into them because the snow is melted and you're more likely to fall through. So if it's still a bit cooler from the night, then you can reach the summit during sunrise, which is really nice. yeah, epic trip. There was 7 of us. We've all sort of traveled with each other before, and it was really nice. But yeah, I'd seen a video that was done by Tegan Phillips on Instagram, and she'd introduced all of her friends like she was introducing a heist movie, and I sort of decided to do a little introduction for everyone on the trip as if we were on a heist, with sort of satirical comments about their personalities, and the internet just loved it. Like, they were obsessed.
Good.
I was literally getting DMs for like Matt's hand in marriage, and for Hector to come as a +1 to weddings, and yeah, be Becky's best friend. And I was like, well, I've done a good job at introducing them all. So I decided to make a series. And when we got to the top of because we did 3 mountains within the 2 weeks. The first one we actually couldn't summit because the weather took a turn and it was not safe. The guides couldn't take us all the way to the top. But then the second 2 were a big success. And when we got to the top of the 3rd mountain, the heist was more than a heist because Matt dropped down on one knee and proposed, and that turned it into like a full-on diamond heist, which is why it's been given that name.
Yeah. Did you suspect anything in the lead up? Like,
I had a weird.
Was he acting a bit shifty, or
he wasn't acting shifty, but like we'd spoken about getting married a bit in the past, and I just kind of thought, if I was Matt, where would I do it? He's the most extra person in the world. Obviously, you're going to do it at the top of this mountain. It must have been stressful carrying around a ring with you, though.
God, yeah, like imagine. Like, what pocket do you even put it in? Do you put it in your bag? But then if your bag gets lost, like,
I don't even know. Yeah, I mean, I think he had it in his bag, and then I just don't know. Yeah, he put it on a string because he'd heard of someone who'd proposed on a mountain, and then they dropped the ring in the snow, and then they just couldn't find it.
That would be my fear. Like,
yeah, exactly. All sorts of things can go wrong.
More than like, what if she says no? My fear would more be like,
yeah,
what if I drop it
and put it on a string? And yeah, I'm clumsy on the best of days, to be honest. So it was probably a good idea too.
Could you imagine them saying no as well in that scenario? Like, going to that level.
He picked a prime spot because I mean, like, I could barely even breathe from the altitude, and then that just literally took my breath away completely. So I literally just had to say yes to kind of like move on so that we could go down, because I was like, I'd like some oxygen now, please.
Nice. I mean, I know it's early days, but have you got a date or anything booked or planned or anything similar?
No, not really. Well, probably next year. Who knows?
Wow. Yeah. It'll be exciting whenever it happens. I mean, with
the heist crew will be there, so yeah, absolutely.
We need a follow-up, like the new heist of 2 rings.
Do you think we need a follow-up?
I mean, okay. Oh, hello.
Do you want to meet my cat? This is Patron. He's sometimes he's a TikTok star if he's in the
mood. But yeah, like, there's going to be 2 rings. That's higher stakes. It's like that's your Ocean's 12 to your Ocean's 11, or whatever heist movie you want to use. So yeah,
I like. He has been saying that he's considering rowing the Pacific Ocean. So that's that would probably need its own heist series. I think he'd do that with the people that he rowed the Atlantic Ocean, who happen to all be on the mountaineering trip. They're part of the heist crew, so that would be like their own little heist.
All you really need is like a vicar or a pastor who can row, some sort of efficient, like big enough boat. A Pacific wedding could work. Yeah.
Love it.
Or especially Oceans heist. Done.
True.
Like, the puns, they write themselves.
They do. I mean, the last series was mountains. The next series, yeah, who knows, on a boat.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've covered the heist. There's only 2 topics to consider now. Do you want to talk about Little Beans or Sussy Captions?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, to an extent.
I don't even. People ask me where Little Beans came from, and I honestly have no idea. I think I was running with a friend one day, my friend Loz from Somerset, and I think she said something to do with she called me a runner bean, or like, oh, you're a really fit bean. And I was like, yeah, I'm a runner bean. I like that. And since then, I've kind of just referred to people as beans with like, they could be a cycling bean, they could be a swimming bean, they could just be a bean.
Yeah.
It kind of, people like consistency on social media, don't they? So if you can, I found that it's something that I enjoy adding to my videos to make them a bit more recognizable. Whether people find it annoying or not, they'll probably remember it. So there you go.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, do you think it's taken off well? But I mean, given the fact that I'm talking about it, probably shows that like there's a level of it like taking off.
I've got a friend that made me some bike stickers recently that have the little bean on them, and I absolutely love them. And I think I would like to maybe make some merch out of them at some point, but not there yet. I think work's a bit full on, and it's a bit of a side project that maybe one day.
Yeah, it looks it. I did like the little stickers. They do look cool. And yeah, like after you posted the first time, were you like, I'm not sure it's gonna stick, or did you go, actually, yeah, like I've gone for it. Let's just do it all the time, and it, you know.
There has been times where I've just thought, what's the point? But then also, I think you need to commit to things. Like sometimes something isn't gonna. It might go well on 2 occasions and then it might go down a bit. But I think that's the game with most things, to be honest. Like on social media generally, you need to commit to a personality to an extent to not just try and be a patchwork quilt of other people's personalities. So you've got to really like establish your own thing, and people, I think, will buy into you being authentically yourself rather than trying to be other people. So
yeah, absolutely. And speaking of being yourself, as you said, it does tie in. Like, I do enjoy the captions. They're very on the line, which, yeah, is kind of wonderful in its own way. Like, how do you find that balance? Because, I mean, as a woman with social media, I assume your DMs are a bit of a trash fire at times.
Yeah. Some of the like spicier videos that I've made that have gone viral have like caused an influx of just, but thing is, like, people assume it's actually just men that like these videos, but like there is just as many women that like the spicy content. Like the reason I started making spicy content was because I was inspired by Emily, Emily Ann Wilcox, I think. She like did a series on finding the perfect hole, and by that I mean like bagels. When she was running, and I was just like, oh my god, I find this so funny. Like the amount of innuendos about running hard and fast and sort of being out of breath were just like, I just found myself really giggling at them, and I was like, well, if I enjoy this, then there'll definitely be definitely females that enjoy this, not just men. Yeah, they are, a lot of them are on the line, but I think that's why they're funny. It's a particular sense of humor. It's very much not for everyone, and it took my family a while to adapt to some of my feeds. So there was a point where like my dad's friends were sending my dad my videos and being like, this is absolutely hilarious, but also, oh god, this is your daughter. And at first he was just like, oh my god, why are you doing this? But now he's so invested and he's my biggest fan. So yeah.
We love a supportive parent here, like, because like I think one of the ones I really enjoyed was the opening the beer, and I'll make sure this goes on screen.
To be able to open a bottle of Coke or beer with my cleats, so we're gonna try. Might take a few attempts. I'm hoping I don't smash the bottle in the process. I'm gonna do it up against the wall because I feel like I need like leverage. I mean, it came off. This is a lot of head, but we can handle it. Cheers.
But like the sort of when he hasn't seen you for a month or however long it was, and just the beer goes everywhere.
And I said he's excited to see me. So
yeah, exactly. I'm like, yeah, I can vibe with that sort of humor. And as you said, it's memorable. It's become you, and as you said, there's no point being someone you're not. It's better to just be authentically you. So yeah,
it's also like there's no actual harm in it, and it's not only fans content. It's actually just like a bit like saucy statements. So yeah. When I first made I'm looking for a babe in lycra, that was like when I'm looking for a man in finance, that audio was going viral. I'd made loads of spicy content around that time, and then the piece for I'm looking for a babe in lycra, I did that kind of around the same time. And although that I suppose isn't spicy in itself, that I think went viral almost as a result of the previous content almost fitting well with it. Like it got reposted by the Ineos team and people like that, and that was fun to see that kind of blow up a bit.
Yeah, and how have you dealt with that then? Like going from just sort of being you and it being a personal thing, and then it kind of exploding and being like, I think you've got something like 50k followers, which is an insane number on Instagram. Like, how do you deal with that?
Honestly, nothing much has changed, in my opinion. I mean, like, you get a lot more messages, you get a lot more engagement, and like the comments, I guess, like have a lot more life in them. Like there's people that have their own conversations within the comments. That's fun to watch. But in terms of what's changed, I honestly don't think much has. I think my video making has improved, which is why the following has grown. It's just been like a learning progress of like a lot of, I'm a big believer in like fail fast. So like make stuff and learn from it. I'm not a perfectionist. I think I'm actually the opposite. But yeah. So I mean, there's more brands that I work with now, which is nice. So it's cool to work with I guess companies that make cycling clothes and things like that. So that's been fun.
Yeah, definitely. And what does, as a sort of way to round things off, like what does the future hold for you? Like what adventures have you got planned, whether that be on the bike or not? Because I know there's bound to be something. The Wimbledon career may be starting. Based on previous.
I mean, I feel like I still need to like know what the rules are properly. The rules are actually more complicated than I thought, but
yeah, but rackets compared to a bike, rackets are cheap, and tennis balls you can get like 10 to the dozen. That's easy.
Wimbledon somehow, like tennis courts and clubs, tennis clubs in particular, make it expensive somehow. They found a way to make it a
that's
not
true.
Yeah, sport. So, but Battersea's got courts. So my brother's big into racket sports. I've just not really taken it up, but I'll be honest, I've got enough hobbies to look after. So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, like what adventures will you be going on?
Oh God. There's so many events out there that I'm curious about trying. Like I would love to do a triathlon in Hawaii. There's the world champs for Ironman are normally in Hawaii, and while I wouldn't be going there for the World Cup, they do have an Ironman 70.3 there, which is like for everyday aggressively recreational people. So that's a bucket list item, although it's quite expensive to get there. So that's a bit of a something to bear in mind. But the Everesting challenge I've done on my turbo trainer, and that was really hard, but I do feel like I have unfinished business with it, and I would like to do the in-person version of the Everesting challenge, which is you have to cycle the distance of the elevation of Mount Everest, which is 8,800 meters. And you're only allowed to do it on one hill, so you go up and down that one hill until you've completed the 8,800 meters. It's a really savage, disgusting challenge, but I feel like I'd like to try that on an actual in person as opposed to just a turbo trainer. So that's on the cards for next year, I think.
Yeah, it's one of those that like it looks interesting, but then I'm like, I live in Lincolnshire, famously flat county. Like the ridge has got a bit, but like, do you pick a long hill that you only have to do like, I can't even conceive numbers, but you know, like
the context Alpe d'Huez is I think you have to do that 8 times. And
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, do you pick a big one that you'd only have to do 8 reps of, or do you pick a tiny hill that you'd have to do like 8,000 times, like a 1 meter elevation hill?
I think I'd pick a big one personally, but each to their own. There was that guy that ran a marathon on his balcony in Paris during lockdown, wasn't there? So like,
yeah. I mean, are we saying size matters here? I don't know.
I'm saying size matters.
Rather in keeping with the rest of your content. Fair enough. Yeah. But, well, I can't wait to see how you get on with that. And how can people follow you in case they are interested in your content? Or wanting to learn more about you in general?
I am on TikTok, Instagram, and I post some shorts on YouTube sometimes. I don't really do long form content on there. Maybe one day, never say never. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'll
Instagram,
make sure.
yeah, it's Nikki Hawkes on all of them.
Yeah. Great. I'll make sure all of them are on screen right now. I'll probably put your Instagram in the intro bit as well, and in the show notes. So all that's left to say is thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
A huge thanks to Nikki for an amazing chat. Do drop her a follow because she's very entertaining and I literally cannot rate her highly enough. I do hope you enjoyed, dear listener, and until next time.